So I got to see In the Lost Lands. This is directed by Paul W.S. Anderson. This stars Dave Bautista, Milla, Jovovich, who are both executive producers of this, and happens to be based on the short story by George R.R. Martin. Paul W.S. Anderson is a director known for directing the Resident Evil films, Monster Hunter, Pompeii, Alien vs. Predator, Three Musketeers, and a majority of those movies are not good. I've seen a couple of his films. I'm not impressed with anything that I've seen of his work. However, the opportunity came my way to review In the Lost Lands, and I thought, why not? Maybe this is going to be a decent watch. And oh boy, it's not. This film is an absolute mess. This is a sci-fi action thriller that involves witches and werewolves. And all of it at the center of it is not as interesting as I thought it was going to be. And that is due to the atrocious script. It is quite laughable for how silly this movie is. If you thought the script for Madam Web was bad, get ready to laugh here. There are very silly one-liners here and dialogue that made me cringe in my seat. Milla or Dave couldn't have saved the script to at least make it interesting at all. As for our characters, they're not well developed. Milla and Dave lack chemistry. They have zero spark, and it looks like every scene they were in together, it looks like they hated each other. And due to the performances and the script, it's very hard to like either or character, or even root for them. The action sequences are on a whole nother level. It's insane how they play out, including a train sequence. There was also a lot of slow motion. You can clearly tell Paul was heavily inspired by The Matrix and wanted to include that here. It does not work well at all. As for the cinematography, this film is awful to look at. Paul's goal is to transport audiences to this dark, gritty world. But why is it so bright? Why is it so bright? It's so unnecessary. Now, I do want to mention this. Milla's costume, makeup, and hairstyling reminds me of Lady Jessica in Dune Part 2. The costume design does not feel original. They just looked at Dune and said, let's put that in this film. Now, as someone who did not read the short story, I'm not sure how faithful this is to the short story. Clearly, Paul was heavily inspired by recent sci-fi films and wanted to apply that here. It does not work. I just think of better sci-fi action fantasy films. This overall feels like a direct-to-DVD watch. And I get it, Paul has a certain filmmaking style, but it feels like he does not listen to his peers or other critics or other fans to say, hey, this is how you can improve. This was just kind of disappointing to see, to come from Dave Bautista. I love Dave Bautista, but this was a huge, disappointing film to watch. In the Lost Lands is uninspiring, silly, and a mess to watch all unfolds on the screen. I'm going to give the film this grade right here. I guarantee you this will definitely be in my top 10 worst films of the year.